MM Radio, you have found The Feels Interviews with Steve Petrinko, featuring natural, comfortable, insightful, and heartwarming artist-to-artist conversations. Today's MM Radio Spotlight artist and studio guest is Anthony Train Caruso. Caruso is a multi-award-winning singer, songwriter, and artist from Cortez, Florida. He's previously been known as the writer, singer, and frontman of U.S. alt-rock band 308 Ghost Train, who have amassed over 50 million streams since 2019 and have been nominated for 20 awards and winning 5. With his new single, Dreams, he begins his career as a solo artist for Resting Dove Records and Warner Music Group under the name Caruso. An album titled Movin' On is soon to follow, as is a world tour for 2023 and 2024. Caruso has a versatile vocal style, able to effortlessly slide between raspy rock star and smooth indie folk rock voicings. Caruso excels at writing music in both of those veins. Welcome, Caruso. It's such a pleasure to interview you for MM Radio. How are you doing today?
I can't think of anybody else I'd rather be, Steve. It's a wonderful world.
That's wonderful to hear. I'm going to dig right into my questions here. We talked a little bit before the show, so I'm comfortable talking with you now.
Sure.
And so you have a fairly unique sonic character. How would you describe the genre or genres that you are currently working in?
Well, I think I'm trying to zero down and dive deep into this, but I believe I'm touching on some spectrum between AAA, adult contemporary, and pop now. I don't know what the percentage of each fusion is, but I'm somewhere between Ed Sheeran and Dermot Kennedy. I think that's where I think that was kind of on purpose, because in talking to my team, Warner, they wanted me to go more center. They wanted me to go more modern because, let's face it, rock is pretty much all but dead, in a lot of ways. And
it really is.
It'll always, it really is. And I mean, it's all good. And 308 Ghost Train catalog will live forever. That catalog will just shine forever, and it's the great songs. But you've got to be willing to change course and evolve with the times and compete with the people that are actually doing, the big numbers in the business. So I had to kind of, I was scared to death, really. But that's where I've landed. And the story is kind of, it's kind of freaky because it's very spiritual, this whole thing from the beginning. And I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit.
Nice. So I've seen that you've won all kinds of awards. You're a multi-award winning singer, songwriter, and artist. Tell me about the awards you have won.
Okay, so that's really another thing that's happened in the last few years since 2019. I spent all these years in the music business unknown. I dabbled here and there, and I had a few little things happening here and there, and I would always, stick my feet in the water and probably pull it out. Probably fear stopped me a lot more in the beginning and in the formative years, and even later on a little bit in life. But 2019 showed itself to be a bountiful harvest, as they say. It started as a writer with a Posse Award for the Song of the Year, called We Are Us by Sarah Spicer. And that was my first, it's kind of a medium level. Posse is the Positive Inspirational Awards, and they're held every year, and it was really a great honor, and they're great people. And then after that, I had written a song in Nashville for a group called Lake and Lindale, and they're an Americana, rootsy type. And I wrote it with them, and it went to number 1 in the Midwest CMAs that February. So in March, I win the Posse, and then the next February, I win a Midwest CMA, and things start to really, really, take off for me as far as awards go. Well, then after that, the Posses came back, and I won a Video of the Year for I'll Break Your Heart, which is a 308 Ghost Train. So now all of a sudden the artistry starts coming in. And then I won a film festival award. Me and Amanda, she directed the Bleed Over Me video, which you can find on YouTube under Caruso, which has the 308 Ghost Train, and the new Caruso videos will be there. And it won first place for the shorts, musical short videos, Toronto Film Festival or something. And then my big one was just last month. Or it was really, last month, August 6th. I took home the International Singer-Songwriters Award, or ISA, for Single of the Year for My Love's Lost, which was on the Next Stop No Breaks album. And that segues into what happened with the 308 Ghost Train going to hibernation and the solo career beginning. So we'll go down the line, and I don't want to give up the tapes too soon. So, but those are the awards that I've won. I've been nominated 20 times in the last 3 years by, and I'll tell you, a 25% win ratio, Steve, that's pretty awesome
it's really awesome.
Yeah, that's a good ratio. So somebody's trying to tell me something that, hey, you stuck it out, you mastered your craft, you put in the work, you continue to do the work, you don't deviate from who you are now, you do. And guess what? People are noticing. And I think that goes for you and me, is that, we just stay and we evolve and we just keep going. It doesn't matter what's going on around us. We're going to keep going.
It's such a great thing to get that kind of recognition. Anytime that I've won something like that, it's meant a lot to me to win those things. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to write those things in your promo pack. And for people to see those things, I think they really help people want you to succeed, because you've already succeeded. They're just like, oh, this guy's a winner. Let's keep it going. So,
I always tell my team, everybody wants to be on the winning horse. Everybody wants to be in the winner's circle. The other thing it does for us is, man, the price tag goes up, brother.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. It's still the music business, man. I mean, we're here to make a living at what we do. Just like somebody who owns a McDonald's franchise wants to make a living making Big Macs, we want to make a living making music. And there's no difference in that. So, when you win awards, that helps elevate your, what you can ask for, which sooner or later, man, that's how we get back all the times that we gave and sang for nothing, because we've both done that. We've spent years singing for nothing.
Still do that.
And we spent years, for the love of the art. But there comes a time sooner or later, you stick in this long enough that you realize that, hey, man, it's time for us to get paid. You and I need to be compensated for our level of talent, because we put in the work, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So when I write songs, my spirituality comes through not like a hammer, but more in a subtle way. And I notice that we have that in common in our writing style. Can you tell me, what role does spirituality play in your songwriting?
All right, here, that's the meatball. You just threw me a softball to hit out of the park. Okay, so here comes the story, how it all started. So, like you, was a songwriter for years and years and years, like I said, and dabbled and did it and got serious and backed off. And, we go through life's changes, life happens, this and that. Well, in 2015, on September 9th of 2015, I was rushed to the hospital and died on the table.
Oh,
and they had to do open heart surgery to me, and they brought me back to life. And I didn't know, of course, I died until that surgeon told me that I was gone for a
Gonna make me cry.
Well, if you think you're gonna cry there, wait, I'm not done yet. I just beginning. Okay, so I come out of that, and it takes me about a year to recover mentally. Let me tell you what's going on inside my head. Every 5 seconds, am I gonna die? Inside my head. Well, after about 10, 11 months of this, I got to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. I was like, I can't live like this. This is really, really, I can't live like this. And I used to go down to this tree and meditate to try to doctor's orders. And, I was seeing doctors, and I was having therapy, and I was trying to get out of my own head. And one day I looked up at this branch, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna throw a rope over that thing. I'm not living like this no more. Oh, and what I did was I decided not to do that. I made a choice that I went home one more day. I went to bed that night, and about 5:30 in the morning, I got a song came to me in my head, the pieces of a of a chorus, and the song was called "Worn." I don't know if you've heard "Worn" yet. You may have on Spotify. It's on there. It's the
I
first
haven't
song I
heard that
ever.
one.
It's first song I ever wrote for 308 Ghost Train, "Worn," and it's a very powerful, passionate, self examination song that lets you know where I was at in a most vulnerable way, but yet a most passionate way. And I never looked back since then. 23 songs later, global releases, 50 million streams, 5 awards. I mean, that day changed my life, and the 308 Ghost Train was born that day. And so, the 308 Ghost Train is John 308. The wind blows where it pleases. No one knows where it comes or goes, but it's an everyone born of the Spirit. And I feel like I got a direct connection with the divine now. So I call God the ghost. Spiritual it's the ghost to me. There's something up there, but it's like ghostly. And so I believe the ghost is my musical director, and everybody calls me Train. So henceforth, 308 Ghost Train.
Yeah.
That's how that all came about. But to sum up your question in a more simple way, spirituality means everything to me and plays everything in my songwriting. I mean, there's nothing in my songwriting that isn't spiritual in some way. Whether it be a song about Amanda, or a song about patriotism, or a song about fighting cancer, or a song about me having fun, born in the wild, or whatever. It doesn't mean there's some kind of way that song came to me. What used to be the sleep, I used to write a lot of songs in my sleep, parts of the songs, and then get up and write them. But now it's evolved into the alpha space thing. I can be daydreaming in a car, like Amanda will be driving me, or I'll be driving and I kind of zone out and something comes into my head, a song comes into my head, and I immediately pick up my phone and I sing whatever it is into the phone. And before you know it, Little Miss Misunderstood was written like that. Love You More was written in a dream. So, there's just, I mean, everyone, Something's Going On was written like that in the car while Amanda was driving. It came to me during COVID. And, so it's evolved, man. So I guess what role does it play? Major role.
That's really wonderful to hear. I enjoyed discovering, what the 308 Ghost Train name was and where it came from, just from doing some research prior to talking to you. And I really that really made you as an artist for me. I'm like, that's so cool that you have this thing, you're doing the spirituality, and it shines through the music, but doesn't hit like a hammer. So it's there in such a way that it's accessible, and that people will love it and connect to it.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your take on that because, brother, I can see I have a brother now, and as far as a spiritual connection with you, because, after my conversation, I feel like I've known you for a long time because there's a lot of similar thought processes going on here, parallelisms, maybe a different path, but it's the same road kind of thing,
Exactly
different.
right.
We might have walked in different direction, but it was the same road. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, sure. So just recently, you were part of that successful band called 308 Ghost Train. What inspired you to change direction and start fresh as a solo artist?
Well, okay, so this was the scary part. Back in the end of May, COVID hit the band on the road while we were on tour, and the tour slowly fell apart due to some one of the members, the bass player at the time. We don't mention his name. Decided to leave the band. While we had paying shows to go to, and really, put me in a bad spot. And so, but in spite of that whole, like, what I thought was destruction, you want to talk about the eve of destruction, that was our eve of destruction in some ways. And what happened was I sat back and sat still, and I said, what's going on here? What's going on? And all of a sudden, what happened was, about a couple weeks later, after I calmed down and I wasn't so angry anymore, I started to realize, I was talking to my team, and I had to talk with somebody from the Warner team, and they said to me, they said, "Why don't you're the songwriter? Why don't you go on a solo journey right now? Put the Ghost Train to 308 Ghost Train into station and hibernate a little bit, let it rest, and let's And I said, well, I mean, how the hell am I going to rebrand myself? He says, what do you mean? You got the most famous name in music. Your last name is synonymous with music. All you got to do is show up. And I said, oh, I never thought of it like that. And he said, yeah, you'll be easier to brand as Caruso than you ever were as 308 Ghost Train. And that story's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. So I said, okay, a new door's opening up here, right? I had written dreams, and it was going to get recorded for the 308 Ghost Train. Okay. That was going to be the next song on the 308 Ghost Train after Paper Ships. And all of a sudden, something told me one night when I woke up to redo the song. So I hooked up with John Zitch, and he produced a track for me, like more of the modern adult contemporary stuff that you're hearing now. And I really was digging it. I went in and cut the song, and man, magic happened. And I all of a sudden, so I'm still scared, Steve, okay, because I'm still saying, oh man, they're going to slaughter me. Here I am, a rock guy, I've got a rock fan base, and I'm, and they're loyal and this and that and everything. And I'm going to go into this pop world, and everybody's going to have nothing but bad things to say about me. So I was really, really struggling. And then the ICE Awards came on August 6th. And when I won for My Love's Lost, which is a real sweet ballad.
It really is. It's a gorgeous song.
It's a departure from everything that's 308 Ghost Train.
Yes.
And it's more what Caruso sounds like.
Yes.
When I won for that song, it was like somebody telling me, you see, this is the direction you need to go if you want to go. Because if you stay back, you're going to live in the past and you can't get to the future. And all of a sudden I was okay. A calm came over me. And ever since then, I've been like a whole different person, an artist. I got my validation, and I got my answer, and now I know where I'm going. And so I wrote a few more songs, and the word is now, I don't know, but the word is the next song that's coming out is going to blow dreams away, and it's going to be the one that sends me into the stratosphere. It's called You're My Blues. And so which comes out in January, because we got to skip the Christmas season, but January 23rd. But they say that song, and then another song, Simple Man, is after that is gonna. And then I wrote the whole album, so I got 10 songs, that are like all this same genre, and it's like wow. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 2 or 3 of the old Ghost Train ballads that never got to play because they were the ballads. Everybody liked the fast songs and the high energy song. And I'm going to transform them into play on the Caruso album. The songs Love You More is being redone. The song Never Getting Over You is being redone. Bleed Over Me is going to be put on the album as it is. And If I Had to Live Without You is going to be put on the album as it is. So 4 songs are going to come over. 2 are going to be redone in the new genre, and 2 are going to stay the old style to give it kind of a little more diversity in sound. Right. So that it's not a complete departure. It has some of the elements and kind of can, please those people, but it's enough of a departure to identify me as a new artist in a new genre. So,
right. And that'll give you a ton of variety for your live show. Also, that you have these rock songs, but if the rock songs are all rock songs and you don't have something to break it up or to change what the lights look like, I mean,
right.
All of those things, when you have the different songs like that, make it so that the other artists behind your show can do their magic and to really bring that audience in that way. I think that's a great idea.
So let me give you a little insight to that, if I can. I've decided to take the tour next year and make it more stripped down listening room style. I want to play to the people that want to listen to the songs.
Mm.
You can go to Spotify if you want to hear the full production. But what I want to do is I want to take a piano player and an acoustic guitar player with me. I want to go out and play for intimate rooms, and I want to get Amanda to put cinematic behind me, story cinematic to go along with the songs, which is going to take a little bit of prep, but we've got all the film pretty much. And I want to do a storytellers tour.
Okay.
And I want to go all over the country, and I want to do intimate listening rooms. I'm not really, I mean, of course, if they tell me to come play Coachella, yeah, we'll do it. But the point being is that I think it's time. A lot of people come to me and say, Train, why don't you ever play these songs here? And I say, because the people don't want to hear them in a rock venue. They don't want to hear Love You More. They don't want to hear Never Getting Over You. He said, yeah, but I have like several people, but people need to hear your songs and hear your words. And I kind of thought that was kind of a tug on my shirt, like that. So I said, well, let's start the tour off with an element that's stripped down. So that's going to be the tour as we start through the Southeast, the listening room part of it with the cinematic stuff behind it. I'm hoping that catches.
Well, what I feel from this new song, Dreams, is that your spirit is coming through that. There's a clarity that comes through, and I think that there's an intimacy that is there between the song and the listener. And I think that you're going to do really, really well with that. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. I love seeing shows by large artists in small venues. Those are the best shows that I've ever seen. When I've gotten to see James Brown up close, that was like, oh my God, I'm seeing James Brown, and he's in this small place, and it's crazy.
Or somebody like Springsteen. You know what I mean? Like in a small place, just going through the songs and realizing that he wrote Blinded by the Light by Manfred Mann, his only number one hit. His only. What I mean? Like, you learn lots of things. And that's what I want people to learn, man, And Dreams is kind of a manifestation from where I started in 2018 to move and where I am today. And it's kind of a validation, in fact, of that, hey, there's no better way to start this solo career off than with a song like Dreams, because what are we doing? We live dreams. And then the ultimate answer is, well, how do we make the dreams come true? Well, if you want to see your dreams come true, basically that came, it came after the song was written, but the ISO award kind of made, if you want to see them come true, you open your eyes. And that happened with Amanda in 2019. I found the love of my life. And then I found myself and my place in my professional career. And, I'm kind of like right now, I'm probably kind of like the happiest guy on earth right now, as far as that goes. I really can't complain about anything, because the hell I went through for 35 years or whatever is now all gone. It's behind me. And what's in front of me is nothing but, I don't know, I guess streets of gold. I don't know. I'm excited to see where I'm headed. I mean, I really am.
So you were discovered, it seems to me anyway, that you were discovered by Warner Music. How did that happen? And what does it mean to you to become a Warner Music distributed artist?
Okay, so I want to just touch on that a minute. I wasn't really discovered by Warner. I was pointed in that direction, and I made the contact through one of their imprints, and I worked through that, and through that I got a distribution deal. I didn't want a traditional deal, because and I know people say, "Oh, why didn't you want it?" Because it's not what you think it is. I own the publishing on my song, all of it. I own all the publishing. I didn't take any marketing money because I don't want to give up any publishing yet. Why? I'm not in the position of strength yet.
Right
now, but where I am is I'm in the hands of a major label's distribution system that, believe me, they are watching me, and that if should that put itself and show itself that somebody says, "Yo, you better go get him now," I'm going to be in a better position to negotiate my publishing, which I'd like to keep half. I want to do a joint venture with them. I want to partner with them. I don't want them carrying me. I want to prove myself that, you don't need to carry me, but man, I do need your help to get over the goal line like you can push me over, especially on radio and,
Right.
and on the charts and stuff. So that's where I'd want the money to go. But see, that money isn't available right now. Okay. So and the $30,000 or whatever they want to give you now, which is just peanuts. All it is a loan. It's recoupable. And the thing you run the risk of is, okay, so say it doesn't get pushed right, things don't happen, and that $30,000 doesn't get recouped. Well, you go into your next project with debt, and they're probably going to shelf you.
Right.
And so sometimes you see that golden ring, and it's really a facade. That thing, if you touch that thing, it'll melt your hand. So what you got to do is you've got to think from the business side of it. And I thank God that I had enough business perspective in the music business. I've been a manager, a producer, a record promoter. I've scouted for major labels. I mean, I've done that all throughout my career. So I had a well-rounded understanding. Publisher for 20 years. I've had songs put into film and TV, on my own accord. And have built a catalog of about, I don't know, I think I had a catalog of about 200 songs. And it's not just my songs. I have, people's songs that I've signed. So, the Warner thing was kind of like, I took a chance, but really they didn't have anything to lose, Steve. I mean, I think they have everything to gain with me. And I think I have everything to gain with them. And I like that position because even though they don't give me the marketing money, guess what they do give me? The name, the logo.
That's for sure.
The name,
it means a lot. Like when I saw it, I was just like, "Oh, this guy's a big deal."
Well, I mean, and you're allowed to, once you get, to that point where, you make it easy for them. It's kind of like Marlon Brando, make you an offer you can't refuse.
Right. So you're approaching this in a really smart way because I mean every biography that I've ever written or interview with artists from the 70s or early 80s, they would have their album would come out and they had to invest so much money in it. And they would go in the hole for the second album, and then all those bands ended up being in debt and owing the record company millions of dollars. And you hear about like the lead singer of Loverboy, I think it was him anyway, working in an engineering office somewhere in the 90s because the career's gone and he owes money.
Yeah, how about Collective Soul? They had sold 7 million albums. They were still living at home with mom and dad, and that was during their career. I mean, yeah, you got to be smart about it. The horror stories are plentiful. I'd rather get some of something than get nothing, all of nothing. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because in the end, it's about building leverage. It's any business is about building your worth and your leverage, and your stock goes up. And when your stock, hey, we all start as penny stocks, and then some of us grow our brand to the place where somebody says, oh, we better get in a little bit before we miss out on this, or before it costs us an arm and a leg and we can't do it. And then you want to hope that you make the right decisions there. Well, I've bypassed a couple of those situations and have turned two of them down because I didn't see the right end at the end of that tunnel. I saw a misconception, and I saw a false hope, and I saw, I'm going to get caught in a trap. I saw a bear trap grabbing my leg, and I couldn't get out of it, so to speak. So sometimes, good things do come to those who wait, and patience is absolutely a virtue. And I'm probably one of the hardest people to teach that to, Steve, because I'm very tenacious and relentless in my pursuit of endeavors. That's why they call me the train. So, because I'm pretty much either get on board or get the hell out of the way. Well, I had to tone that down in the last couple of years because that was actually hurting me now in this process internally. It was causing all kinds of conflict inside of me and, stress and stuff. And I had to learn to let go and just let the process take over and sit back and ease my way into this. And sooner or later, somebody will be writing a check to, to get things put into a whole different level. And that check will be well worth it because, like I said, I mean, it's going to have to be a really good deal. And I'm hoping it's a partnering type of deal. I want a joint venture with them because Resting Dove Records to me and Amanda it's a meaningful label. I'd like to be able to launch my career on that label and then to sign other artists based on their talent, just because they have great songs. See, I'm a song guy. I'm a lyric guy and a song guy. Like if a song hits me, man, I mean, that means more to me than how you look or any of the other crazy factors, what your Twitter numbers are or your Instagram numbers. I could care less.
Yeah.
It's all about the song to me.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, that's how I've based my whole radio show on MM Radio, is that I don't take songs from people. I find the songs, and the songs have to do something to me emotionally. So they can either make me cry or they can make me crazy happy or whatever it is. It has to hit me in such a way that is striking. So I agree. You
just made me feel even more honored to be here tonight because I'm here for a reason. Then that's a good thing. That's right. A good thing. Oh, okay.
So I like to research the people and music that I interview. I listen to everything I could find from you on Spotify, and I can come up with a bunch of artists that I hear that may have inspired you. But could you list the ones that you feel have inspired you the most and how or why they have inspired you?
Well, first and foremost, it started with the Beatles. And the Beatles, it started with, unlike most people who got caught up in the intoxication of their melodies and their the energy that the music brought, I took a different approach. I took Lennon and McCartney's songs and I ripped them apart. I wanted to know why that was making me feel that way in a formula way. Like what was going on and why were these crazy changes that didn't seem like they worked? And that's how I learned the formula. Okay. The actual writing formula. And then the melodies started to come and I learned how to write top line. And top line has a science to it too. It's all about numbers. Okay. I know a lot of people don't even really know this. They don't dig into enough songwriting, but songwriting is about numbers. Okay. It's about everything's about numbers. Computers are about numbers. Everything's about numbers. But there are certain things you do, and I can't reveal that secret on here, but there's certain things that you learn to do that the Beatles did, people did before them, and that are proven to work each and every time, no matter what genre it is. Okay, sure. It just works. Yes. Okay, so then it started with them, and then I was really touched in the '70s by Imagine, John Lennon, and that song. I think that song. I told you I was on the UK today. I was on Lady Liz's show in the UK, and she asked me to pick 3 songs, and why. And I think the 3 that come to my mind, of course, are Imagine, because from the moment the piano plays in that song, and it just grabs you by the throat, and then the lyrics and the words and the melody come together, and they just stick right into your soul, and they just devour you in such a way that was the day I knew this is who I wanted to be for the rest of my life. I wanted to write songs that made people feel that emotion I felt. Well, I'm more of I wanted to find my voice. So it wasn't too long after that I came across a song by Creedence Clearwater Revival called Have You Ever Seen the Rain? And when I heard John Fogerty, I found that that's the way it made me feel. I said, that's how I want to sing to make people feel. And if you go to the 308 Ghost Train, you can hear Fogerty all over the place.
Yeah, I just got chills all over myself.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I have to give him credit for opening up my passion and my voice to a place where I just knew who I was. I was a deliverer of the message like John Fogerty, but I was a deliverer of the lyrics and melody like John Lennon. So I those two together kind of really define, and then if you take those two and you compare me to other artists, I bet you can find those two in those artists. What I mean by that is if you take me and you say, "Wow, I hear shades of Bon Jovi," well, you hear shades of the Beatles and CCR. Oh, I hear shades of Stained. Okay, well, you hear shades of the Beatles, and I mean, Aaron Lewis. I mean, he's got that. You know, I mean, no matter who you compare me to, you're probably going to go back to the roots, and those roots are going to say the Beatles, or maybe CCR, or maybe Elton John even. Now, Elton John had a little bit of a really, I think Elton John is what brought the candy into my writing. Okay, I truly appreciate his ear candy and his writing style. His writing is phenomenal, and he follows a formula, okay? And him and Bernie Taupin have been for years entertaining us, but he has these great melodies, and the one song that lit me on fire was Crocodile Rock.
Yeah, for
sure. Okay, so when I heard that bass line in Crocodile Rock, I mean, you marry that with Have You Ever Seen the Rain and the power of Imagine, and you got yourself a guy named Caruso, the artist.
That's just awesome. I can't think of a better set of artists to inspire anybody. I'm inspired by the same artists. Obviously, I'm not young enough to have ever been able to see John Lennon live, but I've seen the other artists live, and they're just such fantastic performers, and they have such an intimate relationship with the audience when they're playing in their shows. Just wonderful, fantastic.
You know what's amazing, Steve? They still have the same energy and passion today, even though like John Fogerty's like 75. You go see him, he doesn't give you any less of a show.
Yeah, I saw him maybe 4 years ago, and he was just brilliant.
And Elton John doesn't give you any less of a show either. I mean, come on.
We just saw him this summer, and same thing, like just the best Elton John show I could have ever seen.
Right, and I think they're like fine wine. They get better with time.
Yeah, they really, really do. And one of the things with the John Fogerty that I didn't know was that he played all of those lead guitar lines and sang at the same time. And you'd think that, well, just you have multi-track technology, it's probably not that hard. But he can do them both at the same time live. All of them play all of those lead lines. Oh my goodness!
What's amazing is I can't do that. I kind of have a little bit of dyslexia where I can't do the fingering on the guitar while I'm singing. I have to do them separately. So I can strum while I write the songs, but most of the time I write the songs without even the instrument. I write them, which I find to be an amazing way to develop your craft, is just relying on your, your inner spirit and let something come to you and don't force it. And like that. But Fogerty, he's a talented dude, man. Oh, yeah. And now he's got his kids playing with him, and they're just as good, man. I mean, that whole Fogerty clan is like really cool. And that's a sad story in the music business too. What he went through, no artist should ever go through.
Oh, I know. It's
that manager of theirs and the band. The story is really sad. That the band turned on John and signed over their rights to this guy Saul, I think his name. He was the manager, and that guy kept John Fogerty from making any money or even being able to sing his own songs for a long time until decades until John was able to get legal help and it got turned back around. But man, I mean, wow, man, I mean, that to me is the ultimate betrayal to stop an artist from being who he is. And
right.
So you got to respect Fogerty. He hung in there all these years, and now I think he's okay. I think financially, I think he's gotten his back, but he probably lost more than he probably could have had a whole lot more. I'm going to think, because sometimes you can't get that back. You can only get what's coming to you from now, and so I feel bad for his deal. But it's one of those stories like you were talking about how they. Yeah, that's probably the worst one. That's probably one of the worst stories of the music business, is the John Fogerty story. I don't know. Do you know any that are that at that level or worse?
No, I think that's the ultimate worst one. And the fact that it kind of broke up their family too, didn't it? Because the brother was on the other side.
The brother and the other two guys went behind his back and signed over their rights to vote in
Right.
the deal with the songs and gave him the voting rights to this manager, which then had the ability to stop John himself from doing anything.
Right. It's
That's
a
like, and
giant
that's
mess.
like, that is, and so he, wow, he publicly talks about that, and it's really, really, I know it hurts him to say it, but he says, you guys, you turned on me. How
Right.
do you expect me to? How do you expect me to say anything good to you or for you?
So I like what you just said a few paragraphs ago. You had said that you discovered that you you would rather not play guitar and sing at the same time. And I think that that's an important thing for someone to discover, because a lot of times if people are doing four things at one time, they can't have that connection with the audience that they need
Right,
to have. I think it's
right,
great when someone concentrates on singing and making that connection with the audience. I know that was something that I had tried to do myself, to take too much off, just go and play lead guitar and sing and try to emote the songs, and people would come back after the show and say, why aren't you smiling while you're playing? It's like, because I have to think about everything that I'm doing, and
right.
I can't add smile on top of that.
Yeah, and you know what's the other thing? A lot of people, a lot of musicians, they don't do it consciously, but subconsciously, the instrument becomes like a security blanket to defray the attention away from the total nakedness of being a frontman and a
That's
singer.
right.
And once you become a frontman and a singer, and you get through that that virgin-esque part of it where you cut through it and you become who you are, all of a sudden you're a force to be reckoned with, and that the guitar would only take away from who you are now. It would never enhance it. People
Right.
say to me, "Oh, it's kind of, isn't it hard to be out there with a guitar?" I said, "Oh, hell no." I said, "That's how I emote, man." I said, "That's how I do my thing. That's how the ghost gets inside of me on stage, and I push the energy out to the people." I said, "If I had that guitar in front of me, it would block the energy from my soul and shoot it back into me, and nobody would ever feel a damn thing." That's how I explain it.
Yep, I agree 100%. That's a really great take on that. So, how did you first realize that you could do the raspy rock and roll voice? It's not just in your genes, like say it would be with like Rod Stewart, where that's the only way he can actually sing. But you seem to be able to shift between having that rasp in your voice and having the nice clear tone at the same time. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to have both of those voices at your disposal. That doesn't occur that often.
Yeah, I can say it in a nutshell. It wasn't always like that. I had to get rid of one thing in my life in order to do that, and that happened when I died and came back to life. It's fear. The fear went away, and I had nothing to be afraid of anymore because I had already died. What the hell else are they going to do to me? So I started just projecting my voice, and then I started crafting my styling of my voice. So I would push it out when I needed to, and then I would get sweet and subtle when I needed to. And I kind of, it was really an evolution in the last 3 years that have brought me to this ability to go between the two. So I'm going to say that I didn't find my voice really seriously. I really didn't find it completely until 3 years ago. But I did have it back in the early '90s when I did some stuff that I had the rock voice, but it wasn't tamed. It was raw, and it was still needed. It still needed to be tempered, and it still needed to be finessed. And I just thought that, I could go out there and just rock them out and say, but then there was pitch issues and things. I wasn't paying attention. I was just trying to get it past the ears, because live, that's easy. On tape, it's not. And I was falling short back then. But I'm telling you, it was only because I was afraid, I guess, to just let it all go. But man, go ahead and go die for a little bit, and they tell you died and you came back. All of a sudden, you ain't afraid of nothing no more. So I'm going to have to say that played a big role in how I became able to become such a versatile singer. And tell me if you think you're surprised. I'm more surprised than you are, because I never thought I was that good of a singer until now.
Yeah, you have a beautiful voice, and you have a lot of genre range that you can
Wow.
do with your voice. And that's not
Wow.
very common for somebody to be able to sing in multiple genres like that, and to do it well, because your rock and roll voice is crazy good.
Dude, I'm gonna write you a check after this. I'm gonna pay you for that, huh? That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. You said that. I've never had any. Well, I've had people tell me they love the voice. Look, back in the 308 Ghost Train days, I'm just be honest with you. You either loved me or you hated me. A lot of people don't like that raspy voice, but a lot of people do. So I would get mixed reviews. But now, since I've put out other stuff with that, all of a sudden I'm getting the, I guess, I don't know if it's the respect. I'm getting the validation that I've arrived. I've arrived.
Right.
I've arrived vocally too. So not only have I arrived songwriting wise, but now I've arrived vocally and I've arrived performance wise. So what the hell else is there that's stopping me?
Nothing.
I don't think I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to. I think I'm ready to go across the goal line.
Yeah,
I think
for
so
sure.
too. So yeah,
and that's the artists that we discussed, like Elton John and the Beatles. You had both those components in there too. They have sweet songs and they have rockers, and that way you can have a very dynamic show. If everything's exactly the same all the way through, even if you have like your standard rocker ballad, it's not the same as like what one of those genius artists can do with their catalog. Is just
yeah, it's wow. My catalog is really, really versatile. I mean, I'm holding out hope that down the line a little bit there might be somebody come along who wants to buy that catalog. I'm hoping, and that because it is so diverse and the songs are kind of palatable in the mass sense, that they could be used in a lot of future film, TV type of stuff, and it could be, man, it might be my retirement, it might be my 401k. I'm hoping, and. Well, at least if God keeps me around, if not, it'll be Amanda's 401k. She'll be living the high life, which is okay with me. She's the eyes of the 308 Ghost Train. She deserves it. But I think you're right. I think the catalog is being crafted in such a way that who knows what that catalog's going to do in the future. And I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet unless God takes me home. But I'm really not done yet, so I'm hoping that I've got a lot more in me.
Yeah. So we've talked about it already a little bit, but I'm just going to ask you this question anyway because it's going to lead into the rest of the questions. But the song that you are launching right now, you're launching your solo career on a song called Dreams. What inspired you to write the song Dreams?
Okay, so I think what happened was I was taking a very deep dive self-examination into what's happened in the last 3 years and what's happened in the last few months, and I needed to craft my message in a way to tell people, everybody goes through these periods. They're always wondering, okay, what does this sign mean? What does that sign mean? And we all go through it. And so Dreams, I thought, well, first of all, there's no better song to launch a solo career on than a song titled Dreams. Because, of course, we're looking for dreams to come true. But in that song, there has to be some real genuine things going on, and there has to be kind of like a play is. There has to be a past, a present, and a future. And so I wanted to bring that all into light, and I wanted to bring it from where I started to where I am today. My puppies, man. Well, I'll tell you, I'm gonna I'm gonna have to put them outside. But anyway, where
Mine
I
are locked
started,
upstairs with my wife.
yeah, they were locked up, but Amanda let them out. So then dreams became. I wanted to tell the story, but in the end, I also wanted to tell people what I really believed make dreams come true. And that's where the ISO award and then finding Amanda is that dreams came true when my eyes were open, not when my eyes were closed. So you have to learn to balance yourself between the spiritual and the sleep like state and all these signs that you're trying to figure out how to navigate your road, the road that's paved with more light and less darkness. And then you have to be able to be real and genuine. So you have to be balanced. And that's what that song's about, is explaining my journey and how I found the balance in dreams and how I made them come true.
That's awesome. So there's some cover art that I've seen already for that song.
Yeah.
And I want you to, in your own words, describe the cover art and what it means to you and what it means to the song Dreams.
Okay, so there's is the word existential thing in dreams where it's like there's this unknown.
Right.
It's kind of spiritual. It's unknown. It's an interpretation. It's an opinion. But whatever it is, it's a vision of some sort. What it means, who the hell knows? So I had this vision that in the video, I would be going through all these crazy abstracts and scenes that come into your head, but I'd be flying on a magic carpet. So I thought, wow, what makes better sense than coming across a moonlit body of water that looks beautiful and you're on this like magic carpet. Well, instead of putting myself on there, I decided to have Amanda did. She made the word dreams come out of the lamp. So the lamp was on the back of it, and that kind of sets the tone for the beginning of the video, the video. And the video joggles between, or toggles between, or juggles between, or whatever you want to call it, between a reality shot and an abstract shot, and then comes together with both. And it kind of shows that whole, unexplainable, mystical but cool thing that can happen inside your head. And I dream in color, and I dream very vividly, and I see things in my dreams, and then I go look it up and say, what the hell does that mean? And lately I've been seeing robins in my dreams and stuff like that, and that means that the past is gone and the future is about to happen, and whatever. And I hope that that's true, but I see all kinds of stuff, crazy stuff, and I never understand why people are in my dreams that I've never seen before in my life. I just don't understand it. I'll come into a dream and my dad will show up. He passed away in 2012. My dad will show up in my dream with about 40 people in the room. Now, he's a big networker. He had a lot of people. But I don't know a damn soul in the room except my dad. And he doesn't speak to me, and nobody else does. And so, like, I sit in the room and I look at him and like, okay, what do y'all want? Were you waiting for me to play, or are you here for a show? I don't know, but I haven't been able to get myself to ask them yet. Amanda says you need to ask them what they want. So I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm trying to program my mind that when I get in that room next time and they show up. So I got all these crazy things happen inside my head, And
you should ask him, see what happens.
Yeah.
When my dad died, I actually felt out of the headboard one night when sleeping. I felt his hand come out of the headboard.
Wow.
And touch
that's
me.
Cool. Yeah, that's
on the
cool.
head. And I think that really happened. Maybe it didn't, but
no, it did.
I think it did.
Yeah, it happened. I believe in that. There is a connection between us and the spirit world, and it's not all ghosts and it's not all ghosts and what do you call them, specters and all that stuff. There's a good part of that too, because the universe is balanced, and there's good and evil, and then there's the middle. There's all sides of it. So I believe that happened, and I believe my dad's trying to tell me something. I just don't know what he's trying to tell me, and until I get the until I can get my mind to do that. Sometimes I'm sleeping in my dream and I see myself floating up in the air, and I'm looking at myself and I got myself to the point where I realize I'm doing it, so I try to fly through the rooms just like to like feel it, because I'm oh man, I'm staying up here, and it's really cool. And then all of a sudden I lose that whatever in the sleep, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, let me get back to that, man. I want to fly through the room again. So lots of crazy things happen in my sleep, but so I kind of digressed a minute. So what did where was I?
I think you answered the question brilliantly.
Oh, so the cover art. Yeah, the cover art.
Still though.
Yeah, it's just a kind of I don't know if it's metaphoric. I don't know if you need to read into it and look for those cryptic messages like you did in the Beatles songs. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe there's something in there that I'm not revealing yet that tells you a little bit more about something that you don't know. So
nice. That's a great way. Let's keep some of it to the audience's imagination.
Yes.
So on your record that's coming out, in addition to your voice, what other instruments did you play on, say, Dreams and the other songs that are forthcoming?
Not one.
Okay. Who are you using for supporting people?
Well, my co-producer, I produce everything with usually each song with somebody, and this time it's with John Jay-Z Zitch, a guy I played with for years ago, and really great dude, great keyboardist. But he built the track for me because I told him what I wanted and how I wanted it. And we get kind of technical with that part, and then Angel Soto, the lead guitarist for 308 Ghost Train, came in and laid down the leads, which he did an absolutely awesome job. And, the Ghost was in the room that day too, because he sat down and he said, I don't know, I'm feeling this. And it just happened. It happened in Simple Man too. I mean, it happened in a lot of the songs that Angel played on, was that, they just happened and they just came out, and he did a really super job. Other than that, that's all the musicians that there are on that
wow.
track. Okay. It's a built track. So I mean, I'm not gonna try to paint up. The 308 Ghost Train tracks are all live musicians.
Right.
I wanted to get away from that for this project because you have to have a certain sound, and that certain sound is accomplished by production. Producers, what they call beat producers and things like that. And
right.
So that's the way we went in this direction, and so that's it. Any harmonies you hear in there are me, if there are any. I think there are some oohs and ahs and stuff, yeah. So I did all the vocal work. So all the vocals are me. So basically it was me, and then Angel came in for an hour and hit that up, and John built it prior to that. And my engineer is a really cool kid. His name's BJ Ramone. His father was the great Phil Ramone.
Okay.
Who produced the Stranger album and Graceland, Paul Simon, and some of the greatest rock albums in history back in the 70s. Yeah. And here's a kid that came up, under that type of reign, and he's just a really good dude, and he and I have kind of like gotten a like kinship together, and he did the last 308 Ghost Train song, Paper Ships, which I don't know if you've heard Paper Ships, but that's one of my more you want to talk about letting it out and punching in the mouth. That was a pretty my last punch in the mouth song for 308 Ghost Train. But I really enjoyed working with him. So, and his father-in-law was Tom Morris, who worked with Warrant and Seven Mary 3, platinum records on both, and he's my mastering engineer. So I work out of the world-class Morris Sound Studios in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, awesome.
I used to record in Nashville with Chip Martin. Chip plays the bass player for the 308 Ghost Train now, but he's been with me since the beginning of the 308 Ghost Train. But Chip's been busy doing other stuff, so I don't go to Nashville anymore. I fell into Morris Sound, so that's where I'm at with that. So that's how these tracks are coming together. This is more about the song than it is about who's playing on it or how it's being put together. It's all about the song and the presentation.
Awesome. So thank you for that. I think it's really important that we talked about your support staff, your support musicians, and your support production team. It's just great to have all of those names out there in this interview, because all of those people make the record what it is. And
Well, then I
them,
gotta
get
thank.
there.
Well, I gotta put in this. I gotta thank Amanda May, because she's the eyes of Caruso and the Through Eight Ghost Train, and she's the one who does the videos. So we have to put her in there too, because she really tied it all together with this visual. I just wanted to tell you that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Amanda. So let's hear Dreams by Caruso.
Many nights I have dreams, oh, but I don't know why you keep coming to me. Many nights I'm in a place, I see the discomfort that rests upon your face. I'm mistaken, dreams, they seem so complicated. Is a message really cryptic, or will it turn out so simplistic? Many nights I watch time, can't wait to close my eyes, see you in my mind. I still pretend, oh, that you really exist, my imaginary friend. Pardon me if I'm mistaken, dreams, they seem so complicated. Is a message really cryptic, or will it turn out so simplistic?
That was the song Dreams by Caruso on Radio. And anybody that knows me or my show that's on there knows that a lot of songs can make me weep. And having this wonderful interview here with Caruso and learning all of these things about him launching his career and how this song was written and all of the deep meaning that's there, man. When we got to the end of that, and you were so excited when the big chorus came in, oh man,
dude, I
want you to make it, man.
Oh man, I'm you know what, man, I love you, dude. Listen, and I gave the fans don't know this yet, but I gave them a special thing in your show, is that we while we were playing the song, you allowed me to perform it like I would in a video, lip syncing. So it actually looks like so they're going to get an extra treat, man, which is
Right.
really cool. Is they're going to get a chance to feel the energy like you did. And I think most of the times on the radio, I sit there and listen to it with people and I feel like I'm missing something, but you gave me the opportunity tonight. And I just like, it hit me and I said, go ahead and lip sync it for them, because then they can feel the energy and you can push it out. And dude, it really grabbed you. And I mean, actually made you get all teary eyed. And I'm like, wow, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do when I heard Imagine. That's what I wanted to do when I heard Have You Ever Seen the Rain? And I appreciate you for sharing that with me tonight, because you just made my dreams come true. Because you just showed me that it doesn't matter. One person, if I touch one person, then I've done, I need to be satisfied with what gift the ghost gave me, because that's a beautiful thing, bro.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel the same way. Yeah. Well, I got to get myself back into position here.
It's all right. We're good. You're good. No, you're good. Listen, this is actually good, because I mean, wow, from a focus group standpoint, this is actually powerful.
It was very powerful. It was a very powerful moment to see your excitement for it, in addition to all of the other things that put me over the edge there. And
well, that's good, because what I'm thinking now is my thought about the sharing the energy in a more intimate way, and then the songs and bringing them both together. In a big room, it's going to be unbearable. I can understand, but even in an intimate room, like you were listening to my song, but I was lip syncing, right? So I wasn't really like projecting, but I was projecting silently, like I did when I sang the song, and you felt that energy more with the visual tied to the song, and that says something to me that I really need to key on it and delve into further. So you've given me more reason to follow that road, in the performance part. And man, I thank you so much. I think you and I are going to become friends from now on until, for life. So
I think that's that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely, dude. You got backstage passes anytime I come into the Midwest. You get to come up and you get to be a part of it. And if I get to Ann Arbor, which I'd love to, because it's a college town, and
yeah.
I believe my music, it would, there's a segment of the college group that likes this kind of music, and that I think that I may be able to work through that. And of course, I'd love to have you, love to have you play with, do a little something in front of me and with me or something. We can figure something out so you can, be a part of the artistry too, your artistry, because, that's important. I think working together is always a better thing. And then I'll open for you, because because this is the way I do. See, I'm not like all other artists. All other artists think, I'm the headliner. No, I'm not. I'm not the headliner. When I come to your town, you're the headliner. It's your town. I want to meet all your people. So if I go in front of you, guess what? Or I go in the middle, like we take you and we make you the headliner. Usually as we do, we take someone who's a little bit coming up and has coming up in Ann Arbor, and we put them there, and I stay in the middle. Why? Because they'll all come to see me, because they're coming to see you.
Right.
I don't want them leaving after you play. You see what I'm saying? It just makes sense to me. And if it makes sense, it makes dollars.
That's awesome. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your upcoming album, Moving On?
Yeah, well, fitting name, isn't it? Fitting name, Moving On. Well, while after I'd written Dreams, I was going up to Angel's house to lay down some demos for Simple Man and a couple of the other songs. And I'm driving up and I get close to the Skyway Bridge in Tampa. And all of a sudden the song hit me and I started singing this melody, and the song's called Moving On. And you'll get to hear that next year. But, the point being is that it kind of all came together for me. So that song, is kind of the title track to, me moving into a different direction, and, the other songs, You're My Blues and Simple Man and Dark Days, and I've got a bunch. I Love You More, Never Getting Over You, Bleed Over Me, If I Had to Live Without You. They're all very well crafted stories with a lot of spiritual undertones, like you talked about before, and the whole album is basically by design to try to create the album of the year next year. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm coming with two shotguns and two revolvers that are loaded for bear, and I'm going to drop an album next year that, in singles. I'm going to drop 10 songs in singles that I'm hoping is going to define my legacy forever. And I think that this 10 songs I'm going to come, or it's 11 songs, really, there's a bonus track. The 11 songs that I'm going to come with are going to be, what people remember me for, other than the 308 Ghost Train. I think that this set of songs is going to be it's not my coda. It's not my coda because I don't plan on stopping, but it's my, I don't know. I'm trying to reach for the word that I think that it is. It's that one set of body of work that sets your star in the sky, forever. I mean, like right now, I'm a rising type of star. I'm headed for the moon, and if I fall halfway, I land amongst the stars, type of thing. But I think an album like this, with the writing the way it is, and the songs, at the level that they are, I believe it could very well, be my rocket ship, and make me a rocket man, kind of like Elton John.
I really hope that it does that for you. And it's smart to release the songs as singles over a period of time. There's nothing that sinks an artist faster than to spend 3 years or something putting an album together and putting out one song, and then you wait another 3 years for the next album, I guess.
Yeah, those days are over. We live in a society now known as ADD.
Yep.
And you have to release a single every 8 to 10 weeks if you want to stay in the mix. There's 60,000 songs a day uploaded to platforms. Trying to get above the fray and get somebody to listen to you is already hard enough. And so you have to, once you capture a fan base of some sort, if you're going to build upon it, you have to follow what's going on in the industry. That's what I keep telling you about evolving. You have to do what's going on. And I live by a model that a lot of major labels live by. It's a 6-8 principle. 6 songs in 8 months. 6 songs every 8 months. So you basically got an album that lives for a year and a half. But It's an album that's constantly released for a year and a half. And because of that, you're constantly in the game.
Yep.
You're constantly in the game.
I fully agree with that. That's such a great strategy. So this has been an interview with artist Caruso. He's launching his solo career. I'm Steve Petrinko, and this is going to be played on Radio. And Caruso, do you have any final words that you'd like to say about your single or album or launch of your solo career before we sign off?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Steve, for having me in Radio. And I know Radio is playing me in some other stations too, and they've got me in heavy rotation with Dreams. Magpie Sally, he's got me every hour. I mean, they're playing the song. I mean, it's honorable. I mean, gosh, Amanda and I were at dinner tonight, and I was saying, my gosh, I never got this kind of love for the 308 Ghost Train songs because they were niche, alt rock. I'm getting so much more, I guess, universal appeal. So I guess what I want everybody to do is I want everybody to come get aboard this new train, and let's go on this journey together and follow me to wherever it's going to lead, because I see you as friends, not fans. Friends, I call them, and that's friends that are fans. And Steve, you and I have we just become friends tonight, lifetime friends now for forever. And you can always reach out to me. You have my email, and if you want to run things by me, you need me to do anything, you want me to do some liners or drops, you just let Angie know or let me know through that same email, and I'll get anything you need for you. And I just want the fans to come together. And I want them to rally around this new artistry. And I want them to appreciate it like you and I do. I want them to just give it a chance. Give it a chance to touch you. in whatever way it does. And if it does touch you, please climb aboard. And if it doesn't, that's okay, man. It's all right. I'm not going to be upset if it doesn't touch you. That's fine. But I think that when we get to the end of this, we're going to find that there's going to be more that it does touch than more than it doesn't. So, and I guess that's all you can hope for is, let's see where all goes, but let's go together.
Thanks again for listening, everybody. If you love the artists and the music that you heard in this show, please go out to our social media sites, hit like, comment, and subscribe.